Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bomigazi Lupindo. I am a clinical psychologist by profession and I am currently reading towards a DPhil in experimental psychology at Oxford University. And for those of you returning to the channel, welcome. It's always great to have you guys. So I wanted to share with you guys a bit more about my journey in terms of relocating from South Africa to the UK, leaving a full-time paying job to being a full-time student, and just my experience with that transition. But I also asked you guys to share any questions you might have on my Instagram. So guys, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do, because then that gives you an opportunity to also have an input in terms of, some of the questions or some of the topics that you guys would like me to speak about on this channel. So please do check my Instagram out, and I'll be starting off with just my experience and getting into the questions a bit later, because I feel like most of the stuff I'll share will actually speak to some of the questions some of you guys had. And just as an additional bit, it's a Friday, and I think it would be nice to kind of take you guys with me on what a weekend here looks like. There are a couple of things that I'll be participating in, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. So in terms of making the decision of leaving my job and coming to Oxford and studying a DPhil, for me, making the decision to start a DPhil wasn't difficult, and that's mostly because when I finished my master's, I knew I wanted to do a PhD, and I immediately wanted to start my PhD during my ComServe year, because internship was a bit too intense to actually be able to start a PhD. But then my supervisors advised me against that, and that's mostly because they wanted me to have more of experience in the field and believe that would actually help me in terms of making a decision in terms of the research I wanted to do. At the time, I actually wanted to look at rape from the perpetrator's perspective, and right now my research is more focused on trauma. So in essence, that did help in terms of being exposed to different contexts and making my decision in terms of what research would I want to do, where do I feel I would make more impact in terms of the research I do in my PhD. So that was quite helpful for me. And also during the year where I became an independent practitioner, so before I actually applied to come to Oxford, I was actually looking into applying for a PhD. And if I was going to do it in South Africa, I was going to do it part-time, which would take me about 6 years. But if I was going to do it abroad, then I would do it full-time, which would be equivalent to 3 years. So at the time, I was trying to put together a proposal. So when the time came to apply for the Rhodes Scholarship, which is something that I thought about mid-year because someone suggested it to me, I then decided to, this is a great opportunity. I've always wanted to continue my studies abroad. I've always wanted to gain work experience abroad. So this would be the perfect opportunity for me to do that. So I immediately then applied for the Rhodes Scholarship, and at the same time I also applied to register with the UK Health Professional Board, because my plan is, while I am still studying and doing my DPhil, I'd also like to get a bit of experience in terms of clinical work that's done here, but mostly specifically in relation to forensics, because that's really something I am passionate about. So I've applied with the UK Health Professional Board so I can actually start working. So coming to that decision for me was a no-brainer. I didn't have to, contemplate leaving my job, because it was always something that I had in mind. But the practicality of it was so difficult. I mean, when I started working, as much as I knew I wanted to go back to school, I didn't know how it would work out. So then I started buying furniture, got a place, got a car, and having to kind of come to terms with the fact that, okay, so I need to find a way of selling all those things, because there was no way I would pay for storage for furniture when I don't know after the 3 years, am I going to go back to South Africa, or even continuing to pay for a car, and how I would go about affording that on a student stipend. So for me, I think that was the most difficult part, having to, give up all these things that I had worked so hard for. And I think at that point, it sort of felt like I was regressing, in the sense that I had built this life for myself, and I basically had to undo everything that I had built, even though I knew there was some sort of progression that would still be happening in my life while I'm doing the PhD. I think that was one part that was really hard for me. And also, in a practical sense, these come with a lot of costs that I didn't even anticipate. So some I had planned for, but others I didn't anticipate, like additional fees that you have to pay for canceling certain contracts. Those type of costs were actually quite a shock to me, and I realized how expensive relocating is. And I was fortunate because my scholarship actually covers everything. So your visa, TB test, health insurance. My scholarship literally covers all of that, and that is ridiculously expensive. So had I had to deal with that as well, I think that would have taken up quite a significant toll on me and my financial situation at the time. But with that being said, I mean, I had prepared for it. I had started saving up, because I knew that there would come a time where I'm not working, I'm not earning as much of an income as I was at that time. So when I was working last year as an independent practitioner, I had my full-time job. I was working for a practice in Pretoria that worked with neuropsychological assessment. I also had private practice. So those were all of my income streams. And because I knew that I would be then relocating, I made sure that I kind of set myself up to be able to manage. So when I did move here, honestly, it wasn't much of a culture shock to me. And I think, having had the experience of going on exchange program in Canada during my undergrad, I had a bit of an experience of what it's like to live and study in a different country. And coming to the UK, firstly, when I came here, I came with a group of people who were part of my scholarship, who were also from back home. And that made a huge difference in terms of me feeling like there's a sense of home that's with me, which is something that I struggled with in Canada. I felt extremely isolated. So this time, having that sense of community made a huge difference. But with that being said, I mean, there were people that I had just recently met, and forging those stronger connections did take a while, but they did help in terms of feeling less isolated, and having people that you're going through the same process with did make a significant difference for me. But that being said, when I got here, I was still homesick, and I felt homesick the day after I arrived. And I honestly think it was because I felt so overwhelmed. There was so much that was happening. There were so many events that were happening to welcome us and, introduce us to the university, the scholarship. And it just felt like a bit much. And I still had to figure myself out, how to open a bank account, how to, navigate things around here and establish myself while being here. And for, I think, about a week or so, I was just like, okay, so how do people actually establish themselves here? Like, how do I navigate all of this? And for me, not trying to do things like other people and prioritizing the things that were important to me was the thing that helped a lot. Because a week after we arrived, I think a week or so after we arrived, then there were so many events that were happening. Events for your college, which is your res, events for your department, events for your scholarship. And all of that just felt too overwhelming for me. So slowing things down and making sure that I'm doing things that are grounding for me, and also realizing that I'm new here, I'm still trying to establish myself, that made a huge difference for me. And also missing out on things and being okay with missing out on things. I mean, I'm here for 3 years. So I just told myself, whatever I miss out on, I can catch up on the other 2 years that I'm here. And for some, it's okay to miss out on those stuff, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And then came the stipend, guys. So firstly, being here and coming from South Africa, the weather is a different ball game. So the winter stuff that I brought here were nothing compared to the weather that I experienced here. So the first month I literally just spent most of my stipend trying to get warm winter stuff, trying to get like things to make my room feel more homely and my space feel more homely. So those type of things are things that I mostly use my stipend on. And when I did come, I did bring money with me, which is part of the budgeting and planning ahead in terms of what you need. So I did end up spending a lot of money when I got here. And also I spent more than the stipend I had. So yeah, I think the first month made me realize that actually, you can't spend in the same way in which you were spending when you were working and having multiple streams of income. If you're going to spend now, you need to be quite savvy about that. You need to be quite strategic and see how you can use this stipend for the whole month without having to tap into like my savings and things like that. So the thing about me is that I feel it's important to live within my means and also be able to save while doing that. So right now, I can't live in the same way that I was living as an employed person, a fully employed person that had 3 streams of income, was still able to save. So for me, I had to kind of learn how to use my stipend in a way that, number one, I can save, and I set aside a certain amount of money that I'm going to save, and also for me to actually be able to make it through the month. So today is the 17th. Yeah, the 18th of November. And I'm so proud of myself because I managed to save, but I also used the money I saved to book a holiday. But technically that is still saving, guys, because the money I was saving was in fact going to go like to traveling and things like that. So I then used the money that I was able to put away this month. I still have enough money to carry me through until the end of the month. And my goal is not to tap into any of my South African savings, just to try and, live in a certain way here. I live quite comfortably. My stipend is more than enough to be able to still have a positive experience being here. And I must say, honestly, guys, for me, it was quite exciting coming back into varsity after having, number one, went through varsity undergrad honors and, all of that stuff, and then going into the workplace, because I felt it was a new opportunity for me to firstly to dream again and to kind of restructure my dreams, restructure my life. I mean, there's been such a shift in terms of things that were important to me, that were a priority for me before I moved here. And now that I'm here, last year, well, actually earlier this year, I keep thinking it's a different year because our calendar is different. So at the beginning of the year, I had already told myself that, okay, so if I don't go back to school, then I want to start settling down, starting a family. That was my goal then. But my goals have completely changed right now, and my priorities have completely changed. And I feel that is one thing that I've loved about being here, being able to dream different dreams, having bigger dreams than I had before, having the flexibility of not having to make certain decisions now in terms of what's going to happen with me in terms of my future and all of that. That's definitely something that I've been enjoying about being here. So being able to come back to university and having experiences that in my undergrad, honors and masters, I didn't have the time or even the luxury to be able to do those things, knowing that my fees are taken care of, my stipend is taken care of, having more time to be able to do those kind of things has allowed me to actually engage and be in varsity in a different way than I've ever been before. And also being someone that's more mature and someone that knows exactly who I am and what fits me and what doesn't fit me, and being able to navigate spaces from that perspective has honestly been such an incredible experience for me. So I've really enjoyed that, and also just living here and being here in the sense that, the sense of safety that comes with being here. So being able to go around without constantly having to be hyper vigilant, and being a female and being able to walk around during certain times. I really enjoyed that freedom, and also the accessibility of things. So Oxford is big but small at the same time, so everything is quite close in proximity to each other, so you can either walk there or cycle there. Everything is like very convenient. And for me, to be honest, the walking, I was just not happy with that, so I had to make a plan to get a bike, because like my feet were just not having it. I mean, everything is closed, but generally you would walk for like 30 to 45 minutes, and that's normal walking that amount of time here. Whereas if you're cycling to those same places, it takes you about 10 minutes. So it actually made more sense for me to do that. And honestly, like being in this space, and there are so many opportunities there. There are opportunities for networking, opportunities for building friendships, for learning and engaging with people from all around the world, and I really appreciated that. And for me, I've prioritized certain things in relation to that. So making sure that I am able to use the opportunities that I'm getting for, be it networking or growth in terms of courses or programs that are available to me. I mean, I'm learning Spanish, guys, but I haven't been putting as much time and energy into that as I should. But with that being said, I mean, that is something that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do in South Africa, or at least like even be able to think about doing that in South Africa. So I've really been appreciating that. I have never had a mentor in my life, and yet the people that I've engaged with, I have met someone that, I would like to have them mentor me. So it's been such an eye-opening experience, and it has stretched and helped me grow in ways that I had never imagined were possible. And constantly putting myself out there, but also having limits in terms of how much I do and how much of it is fruitful to me in terms of my own personal development, and also the perspective I have of the experience that I'd like here in Oxford, and also carrying that experience beyond here. So yeah, I think that is as much as I can think of in relation to like personal experiences that I've had here in Oxford. And also, with that being said, like guys, I don't want to romanticize being here, because the reality is you do miss home, you do miss your family. There are also certain things that happen here that are a bit unsettling, but I feel like the positive things that do happen kind of outweigh the negative stuff. So simple things like being a person of color will always come with its challenges. I have experienced people treating me in a certain way or implying certain things about me because I'm from Africa, I'm Black. It's quite interesting that I'm enjoying the freedom of being able to walk around here. But there are some people, when they see me in the street, they see me as a threat to them and their own sense of safety, which at times can feel very disheartening. But like I said, like the positive experiences that I have here are things that kind of outweigh that. And to be honest, I'm more able to actually, if someone or a situation happens where I'm engaging with that person, I am able to bring those kind of things up. That actually, this is how I'm experiencing this. I don't know if it's how you intended it, but this is my experience of it. So that's the general kind of experience that I have. I'm gonna get to your questions now. Have you been able to adjust to it? Yes, I have been able to adjust. Like I said, surprisingly, it was a lot more easier for me to adjust to being here than I did in Canada. And I think firstly, having come with people made a huge difference. And also the fact that there's so much about the UK that reminds me of home. So being in London, there's certain places that I see in London, I'm just like, oh, this looks like Cape Town. Oh, this looks like Durban. This looks like Joburg. And to a certain extent that does have to do with colonization and who colonized us. So there's quite a lot of similarity and overlap, and that has been very comforting for me. So in that sense, yes, I have been able to adapt. Next question is Anjani amadoda lapho. Ma'am, stay in South Africa. Like stay in South Africa. I mean, like I've been here for like 2 months now, almost 2 months. But with that being said, haven't seen or met anyone that I would be interested in. And honestly, like I feel like wherever you go, men will be the same, guys. They will be the same. So nothing special out here. The next question are things that side cheaper than here in South Africa. Guys, the concept of cheap, like, I miss being home. I miss being home. So initially when I got here, I used to convert, just to see the value of things, because I didn't know what was cheap, what was reasonable, and those type of stuff. So I used to convert quite a lot. Things here are very expensive. Like, it looks cheap because you'll see it will be like £1 or £20 or £60, but £60 times 20, guys, that is a lot. So things are a lot more expensive here. I mean, I'm just thinking about my Apple subscription. For a student in South Africa, I was paying 35 Rand. For an adult, I think it's like 60 Rand. Whereas here, for a student, you pay like £5, 5 times 20. That's already more than the adult subscription that you would pay in South Africa. And I'm just questioning my decision why I changed my location on my iPhone, because it's a little bit steep, but things are a lot more expensive here. But then it also makes sense because you earn a higher income here. I mean, my rent, like generally rent here for students will range from like $550 to like £600, $550 to 600 being the minimum, and then like 750 per month. So 550 on its own, that's already like 11,000 Rand for a bedroom at res. So things here are a lot more expensive, but I'm also grateful that I'm at a college that subsidizes things quite a lot. So it subsidizes food, it subsidizes our accommodation, which I'm really grateful for. The next question is it a good idea to do a PhD immediately after qualifying? Honestly, I would say take my supervisor's advice. Allow yourself to be exposed to the field and allow yourself to have like a year or two of working before you make that decision, so that you can actually see what the things are like in reality and where your interests are and where you could have the most impact. So that would be my suggestion. Iyadliwa inyama yangaphakathi lapho England. So honestly, I want tribe. Like, guys, I miss tribe, and it's so cold. Tribe and bump would slap right now. No, so I haven't experienced anyone that eats tribe, and I am looking for tribe. There is a South African shop that is in London that I'm gonna go to. Hopefully I get tribe. I do not think I will get tribe, but I'm hoping I do get tribe. I also saw a butchery close to there, so I will pop in there and see if I can kind of get them to sell me tribe. But no, they don't. Don't you feel like you're missing out on gaining clinical experience? Like I said, I am planning to I have applied to register with the UK Health Professional Board. I'm hoping I'll be registered by the end of this year so I can work part-time to gain clinical experience. But I think even if I wasn't working, no, I'm lying, like that would affect me, because I would feel like I'm undoing the progress that I had made, and my confidence as a clinician would probably be affected by the time that I finish. So yeah, I'm making sure I'm working on that. What has been the hardest part of moving, practically and emotionally? Practically, guys, I think it's just the cost that came with the moving. And like I said, having to sell my furniture, having to sell my car, canceling certain things, that was expensive. Moving here, having to buy stuff, winter clothes, things for my room. That was honestly extremely expensive for me. And then emotionally, I think like just having to be away from my family, I do miss my family. And also there are certain days where I just don't feel my best. But with that being said, I mean, that could happen anywhere. But to be honest, from an emotional and I guess a psychological perspective, I've actually been doing way better than I anticipated. So I would say like it's the practical aspect of things, because even like the emotional stuff that came with it, it was related to practical stuff and worrying about practical stuff, like how do I get a bank account, you know, those type of things. Hey babes, have you already adjusted to being away from your loved ones? Yes, I have adjusted. And also because I had spent so many years like being away from my family and living in different provinces than my family, it doesn't feel any different. I was actually saying that, you know, it doesn't feel like I am so far away from home, like in a different continent. It literally feels like I'm still in a different province, but the difference is I can't just drive down to Joburg or take a flight to you know, Durban and, you know, those type of stuff. That is the difference. But yes, I have adjusted. Do you miss us? Yes, I miss you guys. This is from my Fight Club family, guys. I miss you. I miss Fight Club. I miss everything about, you know, I miss the 5 a.m. club, the dancing that came with that, the music. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. But I really miss you guys. I do. But I'm still working out though. You will be proud of me to hear that I'm still working out. How has the whole process been on your mental health? And congratulations, by the way. I actually think it had a positive impact in terms of my mental health, because like I feel so much more grounded and more at ease. I feel like I have a clearer vision and understanding of where I want to go, and also having the flexibility of not having to think about those type of stuff and not having to plan what the next step is or where my life is leading after this. Those type of things, I think they've had such a significant positive impact on my mental health. And also just being exposed to things, like I said, that I wouldn't have been exposed to had I been in South Africa. That has been such a mind-blowing experience and such a confidence booster for me, and seeing myself being able to navigate those spaces so gracefully. Honestly, that has had a positive impact on my mental health. And also being surrounded by people who are so kind, guys, so kind, so compassionate, so willing, and, you know, eager to invest in your well-being and seeing you thrive. That has been such an incredible experience for me. So because of those things, I believe the whole experience has had a positive impact on my mental health. So yeah, and that brings us to the end of our Q&A. And if there's anything else that you guys would like to know, please do share in the comment section down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer any other questions that you guys have, and any other videos that you guys would like me to make. I will be more than happy to do that. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Everyone be looking nice. Say hello to the people. You'll see yourselves in big places. Trust.
And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the life, to the life. On we'll go.
Are ready for the girl, the girlies. Yes, ma'am. No shyness. Save our lives.
One shot.
Save the lives. Ah, this is so pretty.
Around these walls, fighting to create
feel ashamed.
We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
So I'm about to have brunch. So today is Sunday. Yesterday I was indoors the whole day. So this is our haul. This is me. Let's see what they have. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi. Can I please get a takeaway?
Yep.
I'll have the croissants.
Ham and cheese, yeah.
Yes, that's perfect. And then I'll have 2 pork bangers. Ah, there's no hash brown anymore.
There's some coming in about 30 seconds.
Okay, that's perfect. It's my favorite. Can I also get the waffles?
Yeah, well, cinnamon or chocolate?
Oh, chocolate. Yes.
Chocolate too?
Yes. Okay. Hi guys. So today is the 20th of November 2022. It's a Sunday and I am in the MCR. So the MCR is the middle common room, which is like house comm in South African residence, but also SRC, because our colleges are kind of bigger than just a res. They're like a whole system of their own. So today we're going to be having a welfare bubble tea and walk event. So I'm a welfare officer, and basically we're going to spend time enjoying bubble tea, talking, and creating a reflective and safe space for people to engage with others, to undo their sense of aloneness. And yeah, I'm quite keen for that. So it's gonna start in like 30 minutes, so I'm gonna have to go collect our bubble tea, and then yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna do. Yesterday I was in bed the whole day, hence why we literally just skipped from Friday to Sunday. And after this event I do have a meeting for my NPO, and after that we are having Fed Cook and Mince, which I'm quite excited for. I kind of launched myself. I haven't cooked this whole year, and I am about to make something I've never made before. I've never made Fed Cook, and I'm doing it for a group of people who are expecting greatness. So wish me luck. Hosting a few friends over for Fed Cook. Guys, this is the first time I'm making Fed Cooks, and they turn out so good. And mince and curly fries. You need to say it to the camera. Look at Bushe is even licking his lips because it is that good.
I don't have the time to speak.
Because it's that good. Yeah, guys. Please.
Very nice.
Please.
Very nice.
The people are enjoying the meal. We are happy.
Very happy.
I'm in heaven.
I'm in heaven.
Oh, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm happy it gave me a hunger.
Thank you, guys. The people are happy. I need proof. Like, what are the reactions?
It's really great, yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit hot, yeah.
Oh, shame. Yeah, it's still quite
really amazing.
Yeah.
hot. Are you serious? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It feels like a small hamburger, but it's more tasty than a normal
Yeah.
hamburger.
Oh, nice. Thank you guys.